So on a night where we're talking, and a year where we're talking about making an impact, I can think of no better person who exemplifies this on our campus and in our community than Steve West. But don't just take my word for it. We put together a little video of interviews so you could hear what others had to say. Please join me in watching.
Steve West.
Steve West.
Oh, Steve West is the guy who played in The Seat of Chucky and Space Cowboys.
He's that world-famous English dart player. Oh man, I was a big fan, but I don't think he's competed since like 2012.
Man, what a great actor. His movies changed my life.
I just remember reading some of his work while I was in college. Real great writer. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Kathleen Stoller. I'm from Seymour. I am a sophomore in biochemistry. I received the West Chevrolet Academic Award last year. I don't personally know the West family or Steve West, but I do know the difference he's making in lives such as mine and of just the college in general.
Steve West was on the City Council of Maryville for many years and actually served as one of the most popular mayors in the history of the city. And while he was mayor, he bestowed on me one of the greatest gifts I've ever received. He actually came to me and asked me if I would run for city council. I'd never really thought about running for city council or any other political office. And I told him I didn't know anything about politics, but Steve said, no, I'll help you put together a campaign. I'll teach you the people that you need to see. I will help you get to the meetings and meet all the right folks, get the money, the whole thing. And so I agreed, and he did what he said. I got elected and was on city council for several years. And finally, after being on city council several years, was elected mayor. In the meantime, Steve had decided not to run for mayor again or city council. He wanted to spend time traveling with his granddaughters. But the truth is, even though I hold the gavel when it comes to city council meetings, Steve West is still the real mayor of Maryville. He has the political background to do this. He enjoys staying in politics. He meets people all over the place. And so he is an ambassador for the city and a cheerleader that we couldn't get anywhere else. So I think Steve West proves that you really don't have to be elected to be the real mayor of Maryville.
I think everybody knows that Steve West is a man that's never without words, can always answer a question from anybody that has something and always has a comment about anything that's said. I remember Steve has a kind of an unusual habit of when he goes into a restaurant, he will ask the waiter, he'll say, if you were me, what would you have? Well, we were at a football game about a year ago in Seattle, Washington, and with the guys that we travel with, and we went to this real nice restaurant, and the server was a real nice young man, about 20 years old, and when he came to our table, and as he was going around getting everybody's order, he came up to Steve to get his order, and Steve looked at him right in the eye, and he said, if you were me, what would you have? And this young gentleman, without hesitation, in just a split second, came right back and said, well, I tell you what, I would have a better job and a nicer car. And if you could have seen Steve's face at that time, it was absolutely priceless.
Steve West never speaks in complete sentences. A conversation with Steve is made up of the stream of consciousness, sentence fragments that start and then end, and then another thought jumps in. And it's not because he didn't learn good English. He went to Maryville High School. He had the best English teachers in the South. But it's mainly because his mind is working faster than he can spit the words out. So before he completes a sentence, another thought is popped into his mind and he doesn't finish with the sentence. Adjectives, adverbs, leave them out. Get on to the next thought. And so that's what it's like trying to listen to a conversation with Steve. And the other thing is the hands. The arms are flailing around all the time. He's poking you, making a point. He's grabbing your shirt. I tell you, if you really want to hit the mute button on Steve West, handcuff him.
But anyway, Steve, all kidding aside, congratulations on getting the Medallion Award from Maryville College. It's a great honor, well earned and deserved.
As a recipient of the West Chevrolet Academic Award, my understanding is that I get a free Chevrolet when I graduate. Is that right?
We do what we say at West Chevrolet.
Well, we all know Steve, and we thought he might appreciate a couple of laughs tonight. But with your indulgence, I'll be serious for just a minute. Tonight, we honor Steve with the Maryville College Medallion. It's been awarded since 1990, and the Maryville College Medallion recognizes those individuals who have helped immeasurably towards perpetuating the college as a distinctive educational and cultural institution, and who have had a profound influence on the future course of Maryville College. Recipients of the medallion are chosen on the basis of exemplary service to Maryville College, outstanding service to their community and church, and prominence and leadership in their chosen profession or career. The biography printed in your program gives some detail of Steve's impact on the community, but I'm going to give you a more complete but still not comprehensive list of the initiatives that he and Ruth have financially supported just here at Maryville College over the years. The orchestra, Fairweather Hall enhancements, Anderson Hall renovations, Sutton Science Center improvements, professional development for faculty, programming at the Clayton Center for the Arts, and I'm personally grateful, help with festivities surrounding my inauguration. And right after winning a fully decorated Christmas tree at a holiday festival a few years ago, Steve gave that to us. And of course, there is the support of the West Chevrolet Academic Award, which helps us recruit and retain strong math students. The West Chevrolet Scholarship, which is targeted towards hardworking students with financial need, and the gift to name the stage inside the Clayton Center's Ronald and Linda Nutt Theater for Steve's great-grandmother, Nita Eccles West, who taught drama and speech at Maryville College for 42 years and who started the theater department back in 1899. That is a pretty good story. That is about the perfect donor story, I think. On a personal note, unlike Steve, I didn't come from multiple generations here in Maryville and in the area. I just moved here in the summer of 2010, and he immediately was very helpful. There's one way he was helpful that I don't think he knows about, but I'm going to tell you. I was in a leadership group, and there was about 50 people, and they were doing one of these icebreakers. I am not an icebreaker person. My wife is nodding, yes. And it was the icebreaker where they pull a question out of a hat and they ask you the question. Well, the question they asked me was, if you had a boat, what would the name of the boat be? And the way Steve helped me on that was that several years ago, he and Ruth hosted Mary and I on a perfect October day as part of the Vol Navy. On his boat, the dealership. And I thought, when they said boat, I thought about that day and I thought, the scholarship. So thanks, Steve. So you didn't even know that was so helpful. But even beyond that one day, honestly, as Tom Taylor talked about Steve being the mayor of Maryville, Steve is someone who has been here his whole life, knows everybody, and works really hard at helping everybody else know everybody. And even as someone that walked in here raw, brand new, he has personally made important connections for me to help Maryville College and to help me get plugged into the community so that I could be a contributing member of Blount County and try to keep up with the wonderful people here. And I'm very, very grateful. I'm also deeply grateful because it was Steve that first introduced me to Gracie's. And other Blount County important cultural landmarks, and that's just huge. And I know going around the room, I could multiply that type of story by everyone in this room. Maryville College would not be what it is today without the support of local business leaders. The list of medallion winners includes names like Harwell Prophet, Carl Davis, Tut Bradford, and Harold Lambert. Steve rightfully joins them, and we are happy to count him and Ruth among our most faithful friends. And now I'd like to invite Steve to come up here for something formal. I'm going to say something here before I give this to you. Get ready to clap again. I haven't done the official thing yet. So, Steve, on behalf of the Board of Directors, and in recognition of your exemplary service to the institution, I proudly present you with the Maryville College Medallion. Now it's official. You can say whatever you want.
Thank you, and that's all my wife wanted me to say. But I don't always want to listen to her, but I usually do, but I'm not tonight. Let me tell you a little story here. I was at Maryville High School, as Tom said, English, and that was pretty good. But I was part of the student body that holds up the top 10% and makes them look good. So when I graduated and started thinking about colleges, and I really wanted to go to a larger school, but I had this family history at Maryville College, so I started looking into it, and the ACT scores that was a minimum standard was a little above what I had at the time. So I wasn't allowed to come to Maryville College at that time. So I go over to UT, which I've had a lot of things to say about that, but one of the things is, except for my grades, I was on the way to being a Rhodes Scholar. Education, I was told at an early age that studying is an admission of ignorance, and I took that to heart. But as I've been around Maryville College, and let me go back seriously and say something. I wouldn't be here if Maryville College hadn't recruited my great-grandmother in 1899 or 1898 to come up from Grant College in Athens, Tennessee, where she graduated. And my great-grandfather was a farmer out on Sevierville Road, and our farm is the home of John Sevier School now. And I knew her till I was about 17. She died at an old age, but she never drove a car. Her husband, first in a horse and buggy and then later in an automobile, brought her to work every day and picked her up at the end of the day. And when you think about all the opportunities that you women and young ladies have today, and you think about women being in the teaching profession and having children and still maintaining a teaching profession, gives you an appreciation for the things that Maryville College offers to lots of people, whether it's minorities or women or just everybody. And I look at that opportunity, and we wouldn't be here without that. Her son became the first Chevrolet dealer, and my grandfather, my father, and myself, and now Charles. And while we do the math scholarship, I first had a scholarship that I wanted to do that was for the lowest possible grades that you got into the college with. I was not a math or a science student at all, but Charles he thought that the math exam and the things that we do with mathematics and the new opportunities with the Sutton Science Center are really worthwhile, and I agree with him. You know, Maryville College has meant so much to our community, and I think first when I started getting into community things, I noticed that how many of our leaders, and most of them have been medallion winners. You think of those people of Tut Bradford and Harold Lambert and all of those people and what impact they've had on our community. And I've seen the progression of Maryville College through the ups and downs over the years of administration and how it's come back with a real vengeance and stability and the funding and also in the student body and the staff and what they do and the food preparation and you drive through this campus and many people do, probably much to the detriment of some of the students that got a nose in a book and everything, they probably get hit, but the college campus just looks so beautiful and in every way, from the buildings to the grounds, and I think that the college has done so much for our community, and the partnership in this building is really maybe the culmination of recent years of what we've done as a joint venture with the cities and the school. And I know that they're going to bring a lot more leaders in the future. I was thinking, I was sitting there, my great-grandmother came in here and brought us in here. I have 3 granddaughters, and maybe their preparation, one's playing soccer, one's dance, and one's in drama tonight, so they weren't able to join us here. But it's my hope that they won't run amok like I do and go to a big school, but go to a place that you really have to prepare if you're going to be in a class of 13, because they will call on you. I was in a class of 200, and they didn't know whether I was there or not. But it is a great place to get an education. It's a great partnership with the city. It's a great honor for me to have served on the council or on the board with so many interesting people, and I appreciate Tom and Gerald, who's not able to be with us tonight, but who asked me to be as a community member of the board of directors and not just a former student, but I've met so many great people, and thank all of you for the contribution you've made to making this a great part of Blount County. Thank y'all.